Another magnificent day down in Melbourne. We're up nice and early on a Sunday morning to take the four-wheel drives out into the awesome Victorian high country. Looking forward to getting up there and scanting around, seeing what we can find. But until then, I'm just going to enjoy this this suburban drive, followed by the nice windy country roads. Alright, quick stop for supplies in a town of Bairnsdale. It's the last major town we go through. Just going to get some fuel while we're here, run into Coles, grab some last minute food supplies and hit the road up to Omeo. We're about half an hour out from Omeo at the moment. Absolutely love driving through this country. The windy roads, the awesome views over the rolling hills. Yeah, if you've never been out this way, I highly suggest, you don't have to come out here to camp, you can just do day trips up this way, but I'd highly recommend getting in the car and just driving these roads because they are just absolutely phenomenal. And you get to, as you go through the small towns, you get to support the small towns and, keep the economy going. So, yeah, always recommend it, but just looking forward to getting to Omeo for a bite for lunch before hitting the tracks and finding somewhere to camp. After a day of driving, we've arrived at the Wombat PO hut in the Alpine National Park. Awesome little spot down here, right next to a awesome high country stream. So the plan is we'll probably set up camp here, have a beer or two around the fire, have something to eat. And then as we're getting towards sunset, I'm going to head back up the track. Can't remember the name of it, but it's heading west from here. There's apparently a lookout up there somewhere. I don't know much about it, but I've got to drive up there and have a look because I've got a strange feeling there might be a nice sunset tonight. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see, but until then, it's beer o'clock. Well, we've arrived at the top of the track after a massive 45 minutes of climbing, and this is the lookout that was in the map book I was using, and it's just a little bit too busy in the foreground. We've got trees everywhere. It's an awesome view, but it doesn't make for a great photo. So I reckon, considering it's still 45 minutes down a very tight and steep track, we are going to hang a U-turn and head back to camp, just for safety reasons really. Going to go light a fire and get warm and have something to eat. Well, I woke up before sunrise this morning to a drab grey morning, so did not even bother climbing out of the swag. It's been a little bit of rain overnight. It's starting to try to rain again now. A few drops. Just a bit of a non-motivated morning. There's just no light whatsoever. We didn't have great intentions of doing any shooting this morning anyway, but I did think if I got a bit of nice morning light, I could have shot the hut here and a bit of the scenery around it. But it's just that the lighting is that flat that it's not even worth it. So I've just had breakfast, just going to boil the kettle now, have a cup of coffee and regroup the thoughts before hitting the tracks and seeing what we can find for hopefully some shooting tonight. The weather forecast is meant to be pretty crappy, a bit of rain all day, but hopefully there's some breaks in the cloud that we can get a bit of light through for this evening. Time will tell. Anyway, let's get the coffee on and yeah, deal with it. Despite being a bit of a grey and drab morning this morning, it's a nice day for a drive. We've finished the steep climb out of camp that we did last night as well. We got up the top of that. It's nice now to be back on some formed dirt roads that are more than a car width wide, so we don't have to worry about so many scratches down the side of the cars, which we've been trying to avoid. Now, as I said, despite not being the best weather for photography, there are some amazing views off the side of these hills. Awesome layers of mountain upon mountain, some beautiful textures of the big tall trees. We've even got some low-lying clouds sort of peeking in between the valleys, which is absolutely stunning. But there's just no clearings that allow an easy view of it. So I haven't been able to shoot it. I would have loved to have. I was driving very slow about half an hour ago, just trying to find a spot, but there just wasn't any clearings, unfortunately. So yeah, just enjoying the morning, in all honesty, and we'll see what we can find. It has been a massive day of driving today. We left camp, I can't remember what time, about 8 o'clock this morning or thereabouts, and it's now just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and we've only just sort of got to the location I wanted to get to today. Now we've driven up through the town of Mitta Mitta. If you're ever up this way, please drop into that town. It's an absolutely gorgeous town, and the pub there, awesome meals, chicken schnitzel in a pot, perfect. Anyway, from there we've travelled across through Mount Beauty and then up to the top of Falls Creek. There's a bit of weather on its way in, so the wind is actually blowing quite strongly up here at the moment. There's meant to be storms coming through tonight at some stage, so hopefully it goes around us, but if not, we'll see what we can do as far as photos go. We've come up to the top of Mount Mackay, which is just away from the ski resort of Falls Creek. We're up around about 1,860 metres elevation at the moment, so very high, and the view from up here is breathtaking in every direction. It's 360 degree views of just the pure high country rugged hills. It's magnificent. What I'm going to do for the time being is we're just going to jump back in our cars and head back down, try and find somewhere to camp for the night so we can at least get ready and we know where we're heading afterwards. And then I'll probably just, trudge back up here for sunset, get a shot up here. And just up the road, how's this for a beautiful High Plains campground? Oh, the grass here is awesome. This is a nice camp spot. Can't wait to get this fire roaring. Just on the way back to the lookout we were at earlier for the sunset shoot. Now on the way back, I had a quick stop at Cope Hut, which is another one of the high country huts, which is only a couple minutes up the road from where we're camping. In the right conditions, that would come up absolutely stunning in an image. Here's an image I just captured now in not so favourable conditions. As you can see, with those trees that surround that hut, that would be absolutely magical, with a nice bit of softened morning side lighting on those trees, and lighting that hut up against the background. Oh, that's a location I've got to get back to up here, definitely. But yeah, for the moment, I'm just going to keep driving and get to this lookout. That light is absolutely beautiful. Woohoo! The sun's starting to poke out from under the stormy clouds and putting out these beautiful golden rays onto the mountains. Oh wow, and there is a lot of rain coming. I've just looked over and I'm about to get wet. Have a look at that. Oh look, that light is too good to refuse. I've even got the sun now lighting up the raindrops as they're falling. So I'm gonna have to run up the hill, take the best shelter I can and get a shot because this is beautiful. Look, I've got to run. Nah, I could not get that shot. It looked absolutely phenomenal, but I am getting pummeled by wind and rain at the moment. I'm getting awesome colour everywhere, but this wind and rain is making it impossible to shoot. There's so many awesome compositions, but I cannot shoot towards the wind. That's just not gonna work. All right, I didn't quite make it back up the top. I kept the same composition I had before, going for that beautiful light behind the clouds, but I had an idea, why not move my car and use that as a barrier? So that's blocking a fair bit of the wind hitting me, but this rain is still a bit of a nightmare, so I'm having to keep cleaning the lens from the drops, but this is absolutely stunning. These clouds are, they're awesome. There's no other way of describing it. You've got to get up here, but this is typical high country weather. Beautiful 1 minute, it was quite breezy earlier, but then absolutely pounding it through. What does Thomas Heaton say? Absolutely chucking it down. Something along those lines. And it did just before. My back of my pants are drenched. So what, I'm just waiting for some beautiful rays to come out from this sun, from behind the cloud, and I'm going to capture it, guys. No filters because it's way too windy to be using filters, and I am 5 bracketing because I want to keep every bit of detail in those clouds. I don't want any highlight blowouts, and same goes for the shadows of the mountains right in front of me. I want to keep as much detail in those shadows and avoid as much noise as possible. Look, I'm just waiting now, guys, and I'll see how we go. Check out that colour. That is beautiful. The colours are just too good to pass up. And I've got this beautiful road running right in the foreground of the image to sort of help frame the lake in the distance and that beautiful cloud. I've got to hurry up and get this. I'm going to have to put this down, sorry. I have captured that just in time, just after I took the exposure. I reckon probably 20 seconds, and the colour on that little fluffy cloud has disappeared. I've still got pinks in the high wispy cloud behind it, but that's not what I was after. I'm stoked with that, guys. That's one of those moments where just everything has to be done so quick to make sure you get the shot. Settings, I 3 bracketed because the foreground's quite dark, sky quite bright, the usual stuff, no filters. F11 ISO 100. The darkest bracket was 1/8 of a second, then it was 1/4 of a second and a half of a second. I'll blend them later, no worries whatsoever. Now I'm loving the storm cloud over to the right. This was going back to the original composition I was after, and there's a nice bit of orange colour on the high wispy cloud, so I'm going to go for one more composition and then I'm going to have to call it a night because this weather is getting, it's all over the shop, guys. So I'm just going to run over there and get one more and see how we go. this is a phenomenal evening. I can't get over this. Check out the colours in the sky over to the west at the moment. The sky is lighting up. There's not a composition that way because they're looking towards the mountains. It's just so dark at the moment, but those colours, oh wow, this is what it's about. This is what the chase is about. You know, you come away to these places not knowing if you're going to get an image. After last night being so grey and drab, it didn't put me in a bad frame of mind, but it does bring you down a little bit, but makes you continue your search and see what else you can find. And then you come across something like this and go, yeah, that's why we do this. That is why we do this, to capture the beauty of Mother Nature. Alrighty, it is cold now. That wind's starting to blow up again. Stoked with the images is an understatement. I wasn't expecting that. Those colours. Yeah, that's me done for the night. I'm just going to pack all my gear up, put it back in the car and get back to camp and try and keep warm for the night. Hopefully it's nowhere near as windy where we're camping. So in case I don't do a vlog in the morning, I will sign off now. Look, thanks heaps for coming on this trip. It's been an absolute pleasure to show you through the Vic High Country and some of the spots we've been to. I love the country out here. These tracks, it gets the adrenaline racing. It's about the adventure, you know. This is why I got into photography. This is how I started Onpatrol photography. It's because I owned a Nissan Patrol. It's all from the four-wheel drive scene. Yeah, so look, thanks again, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. And yeah, keep an eye out, subscribe, all the other stuff. Share the video if you'd love to. I would really appreciate that, guys. And yeah, I'll catch you around. Cheers, guys. Based on that wind, I'm going to get out of here, guys.